Today, we're diving into some major political drama as the countdown to Election Day begins. With just 4 weeks left, tensions are high, and the latest clash centers around disaster relief efforts in the aftermath of the devastating hurricanes. On one side, we have Vice President Kamala Harris, who is fiercely calling out former President Donald Trump for spreading false information about the federal response. And on the other side, we have Trump, once again stirring the pot with bold claims that are turning heads, whether they're true or not. In the midst of one of the worst hurricane seasons, accurate information is more critical than ever. But last night, Trump doubled down on his accusations, falsely claiming that FEMA's relief funds are being funneled toward migrant support rather than helping hurricane survivors. According to Harris, this isn't just misinformation, it's outright dangerous. She slammed Trump, calling his statements extraordinarily irresponsible and emphasizing how damaging these conspiracy theories can be for people who desperately need help. Harris didn't hold back, making it crystal clear that FEMA's disaster relief resources are fully available to those impacted by the storm. She stressed that every American affected by this disaster is entitled to that assistance, whether it's money for temporary housing, rebuilding homes, or covering other storm-related costs. The vice president's message was clear: don't let false claims scare you away from the help you deserve. But Trump's claims are already causing a ripple effect. Some people are reportedly hesitant to apply for FEMA aid, worried they won't get what they need. According to FEMA, this misinformation could delay critical assistance. Harris also took aim at Trump's decision to skip a pre-election interview, suggesting that he's more interested in promoting his own agenda than addressing the real needs of the American people. Let's break down what's really happening here. Vice President Kamala Harris is sounding the alarm on the importance of staying informed during a crisis, especially when lives and livelihoods are at stake. In her recent statements, she did not mince words, labeling former President Trump's claims as not only false, but potentially harmful. Why? Because when misinformation spreads, it creates confusion, and that confusion can prevent people from seeking the help they desperately need. Here's what Harris wants to make crystal clear. FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, is entirely focused on hurricane survivors. The funds that are set aside for disaster relief are separate from other programs under the Department of Homeland Security, like those that assist with migrant issues. In other words, the money that's meant to help those affected by hurricanes is not being diverted elsewhere. The suggestion that storm victims are being neglected is, as Harris puts it, extraordinarily irresponsible. This is where things get serious. Trump's repeated false claims, especially those broadcasted to millions of viewers, have real-world consequences. When people hear that they might not get the assistance they need, they could hesitate to apply, fearing they'll be left empty-handed. But Harris is urging people not to fall for these conspiracies. The assistance is there, ready and waiting for those who need it most. Whether it's temporary housing, repairs to damaged homes, or covering costs from the storm, FEMA's resources are designed to help individuals get back on their feet. Harris's pushback comes at a crucial moment, with Election Day just weeks away. Every word, every claim, and every piece of information is under the spotlight. As people look to their leaders for guidance, Harris is emphasizing the importance of facts over fear. Her message: don't let disinformation steal the support you're entitled to. There's help out there for you. Apply for it and make sure you get what you deserve. As the political storm rages on, the conversation about disaster relief takes center stage. Vice President Harris is not just addressing the misinformation, she's also highlighting the broader implications of Trump's rhetoric. By repeatedly attacking the Biden-Harris administration and spreading dubious claims about FEMA, Trump is steering the narrative away from what truly matters, helping those impacted by the hurricanes. This isn't merely a political spat, it's about the lives of everyday Americans who are grappling with loss and uncertainty. Harris passionately argues that this is not just about politics, it's about people. It's about him. It's not about you, she asserts, stressing the urgency for those affected to understand their rights and entitlements. Her message resonates deeply as she reminds the public that resources exist specifically to assist them in this time of need. The vice president encourages individuals to rise above the noise and focus on what's at stake: recovery, rebuilding, and resilience. One striking point that Harris emphasizes is the reality of the federal assistance available. Contrary to Trump's claims that hurricane victims are limited to a mere $750 in aid, FEMA clearly states that the actual assistance can be much more substantial. This misinformation not only misrepresents the resources available, but also spreads fear among those who are eligible for aid. It's a disheartening reality when political discourse overshadows the basic human need for support during times of crisis. Harris highlights the psychological impact of such claims. People who are already traumatized by the hurricanes may feel discouraged from seeking help, fearing that they won't receive it. Harris asserts that this is precisely why accurate information is essential. She is calling on the American people to take control of their narratives, to push back against the fear-mongering, and to understand that the help they need is there for the taking. In a time when unity and support are paramount, Harris is determined to ensure that the conversation remains focused on the needs of the survivors. It's not just about politics, it's about lives hanging in the balance. As the debate intensifies, the vice president continues to shine a spotlight on the dire consequences of misinformation, not just for the affected individuals, but for the entire nation. Harris emphasizes that the role of leaders is to guide and support their constituents, especially in challenging times. By diverting attention to personal grievances and political battles, Trump is missing an essential opportunity to demonstrate genuine leadership. Harris's media blitz aims to hold Trump accountable while reminding the public of the importance of integrity in political discourse. She passionately underscores that disaster relief should not be a pawn in the political game. Instead, it should be an area of collaboration where leaders come together to serve the common good. If he is not going to give your viewers the ability to have a meaningful, thoughtful conversation, Harris says, then watch his rallies. This call to action challenges the public to engage critically with the information they consume and the leaders they support. Harris underscores that this isn't merely about policy, it's about the stories of real people who are suffering. With families displaced and homes destroyed, every moment spent discussing false narratives is a moment lost for those in need of urgent assistance. She wants the American public to know that they are not alone, help is available, and they must not hesitate to seek it. In a powerful reminder of the stakes involved, Harris expresses her deep belief in the resilience and determination of the American people. She believes that they are ready to turn the page and demand better from their leaders. It's a rallying cry for voters to prioritize accountability and compassion over divisiveness. Ultimately, as the clock ticks down to Election Day, Harris urges everyone to stay focused on what truly matters: the recovery and rebuilding efforts that can restore hope and stability to communities in crisis. The road ahead may be challenging, but together, Americans can rise above the disinformation and reclaim their narrative, ensuring that every voice is heard and every need is met. It's clear that the stakes have never been higher. With just weeks until Election Day, the battle over accurate information versus misinformation is not just a political issue, it's a humanitarian one. Vice President Kamala Harris is fervently advocating for those affected by the hurricanes, emphasizing the critical role that truthful communication plays in disaster recovery. We've seen how damaging false claims can be, how they can create unnecessary fear and confusion, keeping those in need from accessing the help that is rightfully theirs. Harris's passionate defense of FEMA's mission serves as a reminder that we, as a society, must prioritize truth and transparency, especially when lives hang in the balance. Every claim made by our leaders has consequences, and it's our duty as citizens to hold them accountable. So as you head into the coming weeks, I urge you to stay informed. Engage with credible sources, question misleading narratives, and remember the real people behind the headlines. Those impacted by the hurricanes are more than just statistics. They are families, friends, and neighbors who deserve our support and attention. As the political landscape evolves, let's not forget the importance of unity. We have the power to influence the conversation, to stand up for those who are struggling, and to demand that our leaders focus on solutions rather than self-promotion. We can turn the tide on misinformation by uplifting accurate narratives and advocating for the help that our communities need. Thank you for tuning in today. If you found this discussion insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content that matters. Join the conversation in the comments below